Hi, everyone. How are you doing today? Today is Thursday, January 29th. Hopefully, you all will join me. I am in Seattle um, and can't wait to have a conversation with you all today. Wanted to get started by letting everyone know that we know it's a tough time. We know that we all are thinking deeply about those in Minnesota. We have resources for you all. Just wanted to open our conversation here. Hopefully, you all will join us all and we can chat through what's going on in your world, what's going on in your fundraising team. Hi, Vanessa. How are you? Happy to have you with us. I am here in Seattle where Colton Withers and I did the Case Independent Schools Conference, Case NACE. And then yesterday we went up to Tacoma. Hi, Anya. And we did a presentation, a half-day presentation for AFP South Sound. And so we're just working away here. I tried to let some sun in, but it's more gray than sun. I know many of you are feeling that in the deep freeze all over the United States. Let me know where you're joining us from. Let me know kind of what's happening in your world. I know for a lot of us, hi, Karen, how are you doing? I know for a lot of us, it's hard. It's just really difficult right now. We have posted resources for you to help those in Minnesota and across the United States who need our help, who need our thoughts, who need our strength right now. Colton and I leave Seattle on Saturday and we're headed to Singapore. Frankly, couldn't come soon enough for me. I'm excited to get over to Singapore and do good work with our clients there and also partner with Case Asia Pacific and host a one-day training for the audiences there in Singapore. But I'd love to hear from you all. Would love to hear what's going on in your world. Anya, I'm happy to take you with Singapore. I might not come back. Just being honest. I will, but I don't want to. And so wanted to open the conversation. Yesterday, we spent a lot of time talking to an audience here in Tacoma. And we talked about making sure your first-time donors are your most valued population and how to get them to turn into recurring donors. So looks like I have Karen joining us from IC Maryland, where they're doing remote learning. I know a lot of parents are struggling this week, trying to do remote learning, trying to deal with ice and snow and cold, and just also our entire, for those of us in the United States, kind of just our souls being shaken by now the second murder in Minneapolis in as many weeks. There's my friend Lauren from Northern Illinois. She'll be joining us in Chicago for our Distinguished Leaders meeting, and I can't wait to see her. Chicago, we're going to have a fabulous conference in both Chicago in March and Nashville in June, so the weather will be nice and warm. Mariah is joining from Cleveland, where they're going to celebrate their bicentennial at Case Western Reserve, and then they're launching into a public phase of the campaign and open a new building. So namings abound, Mariah, lots of things going on. We did have some good news this week out of UC Davis. They were able to have a $120 million gift given to their veterinary medicine program. So that was stunning, the largest gift to a veterinary medicine program in the United States to date. So we are seeing people continuing to be generous. There's my friend Tom from snowy Rhode Island. Always happy to give you a dose of myself. We all can be here for each other during these difficult times. Anya's preparing for their giving day, taking a everyone has a job approach this year. I love it. Personal outreach via phone and personal emails. Parent giving is down. That kind of tracks. Um, I will tell you that people are kind of, I don't know about y'all, but this January has been the longest January. I feel like it reminds me of the April of 2020, where it was the longest April ever. And the hits keep coming. Unfortunately, our January has been chaotic and disturbing for many of us and just uncertain. I saw pictures and video yesterday out of uh, Oxford, Mississippi, which is where Ole Miss or the University of Mississippi is. And they have canceled classes all the way through February 8th because their infrastructure cannot hold power. They have ice everywhere. I saw photos of the Grove, which is their tailgating spot. And I saw some sorority houses that had a lot of damage. So I'm thinking of those folks. Oh, there's my friend Nicole in Alaska and Julie in Ithaca. They're at Cornell. If you haven't yet done something for yourself this week, I highly encourage you to do something for yourself this week. If not others, then yourself, to take care of yourself. Yesterday, like I said, Colton and I went over to Tacoma. We spoke all morning. And you guys, I got back to the hotel here. I'm staying at a Kimpton because you know how much I love a Kimpton. And I caved in. I am not normally like, I'll take a rest in the afternoon, but I climbed in the sheets, y'all. Climbed in the sheets, watch, totally watched the trash TV that I love so much, and Real Housewives. So I caught up on the Salt Lake City reunion, started the Beverly Hills season. So, good mental stimulation content there for me. And I just vegged for a while. And then we went out to this amazing, like hand pulled noodle place here in Singapore. I mean, it's here in Seattle, not in Singapore yet. Otherwise it'll be, 8 in the morning tomorrow in Singapore. Hey, Alex, how is Galveston? Hopefully you're doing well as well. So yeah, I caved in, did some self-care, always talking to my parents, Oh, Bridgerton was released today. Oh, Mariah. Now I know what I'm going to do on my 17 and a half hour flight. So I've got Bridgerton lined up for it and Landman. So I've been saving some nuggets for a nice long flight. I brought my needlepoint with me. I brought my iPad with my books on it. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the journey to Singapore, which I love so much. Feel free to drop what you're feeling. Feel free to drop, I don't care if you just do Kermit flailing arms in the chat. I'm always here to help, always here to create community, and how we can show up for one another. But really, chat fundraising to chat life. If you don't want to talk about life, we could talk about not reality TV. We had good weather in Seattle for a little bit. Now it is classic Grey's Anatomy weather. So it is gray. It is misty sprinkling. Oh, I have not watched Shrinking. Since I have my own psychologist, maybe I'll have to look into that. Oh, I forgot to tell you all. So 2 weeks ago, we did our chat, and I had told you that I was starting Sopranos. I finished Sopranos. I loved Sopranos, and I am carrying Sopranos energy into 2026. So 50 Cent and Sopranos is how I am going to just treat the world some days. When I can't be kind, I can be, I can, I can be like a soprano. Although there was a lot going on in that show, so I may have to rewatch it and figure it out. Would love to hear how you're doing in your community, how you're hanging in there, how you're being kind to yourself. So I thought that something else, when I was home with my mom and dad. Hi, Crystal. Good to see you. When I was home from mom and dad, I got a package from a longtime friendly acquaintance. It's hard for me to categorize people sometimes in your life. So I had the opportunity young in life to meet another young person who was just a dynamo, and um he brought light, and uh he was just fantastic. He went on to go on The Amazing Race, and then after The Amazing Race, he started a company named Tom's Shoes, and his name's Blake Mycoskie, and he and I have kept in touch over the last 20 years. We've been friends, we've been entrepreneurs, we've been rooting for each other. And if you've never had a pair of Toms, um, buy yourself a pair, because for every pair you buy, they give a pair of Tom's shoes to someone in need. Kind of like Bombas socks. They were the first Bombas socks, right? Blake ended up selling the company and becoming quite wealthy from that. And he knows he made the right decision. But Unfortunately, Blake ended up going into a deep, 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 dark depression for 7 years, losing himself, losing he lost Tom's. I mean, even though he sold it, he lost his purpose in life. And recently, we've been seeing Blake come out and talk about his mental health journey. And as many of you know, I've shared my own mental health journey. I had a nervous breakdown in 2017. I have an anxiety disorder that manifests itself in a lot of ways. Panic attacks, moving away from the United States helped it a lot, but other things. But so Blake is back, and he has a new business where 100% of the proceeds support mental health nonprofits. It's called We Are Enough. And my first ever PR package came to my parents' home, and he sent me 2 bracelets, and it says enough. His colors are green and white, just like mine, Blake. So if I inspired you with my colors, you're welcome. But in the package were 2 bracelets, one to keep and one to give. And so I gave one to my friend Colton. But he has a ton of merch. We Are Enough is the name of the company. I'm going to drop um, the um, the site for you. It's a powerful mission. You can join the movement and sign up for the newsletter to get mental health tips, to talk about mental health resources, whatever it may be. Yes, I love Tom's as well. My friend Tom Ahern wears them, because why not wear shoes that share your name? But they have bracelets. He says I'm getting a t-shirt soon. I have a decal on my laptop now. So I got a whole little PR package, and I'm not an influencer, so that was cute. But if you're interested in supporting weareenough.co, they have bracelets, they have swag, they have all kinds of things, all to support mental health awareness. So if you see me around wearing my Enough bracelet, now you know the backstory of the company. So yeah, love that for all of us. Just some small reminders, some things to do to help protect your peace, to help think about supporting, perfection is not a thing, right? So I don't know that I'm an influencer, Vanessa, but I'll take some free swag every now and again if it's meaningful, right? So it looks like I've got some great comments. Hannah says, I'm new to annual giving team at UTMB. Congratulations, Hannah. Welcome to our world. We're so happy to have you. She says, what is a good way to excite a donor into giving on the annual day of giving versus any other day of year? And I know I have Anya and some other folks that work in annual giving here. So we're going to crowdsource uh, the answer. So hopefully some of you, like Tom and Anya and others, will drop your tips. I will tell you that giving days matches work. A novel or fun theme works really well. So One Pine Day or Flug Day, but allowing the donor to give their money to a project. So not just unrestricted funding, but project-based funding is also very popular. Donors want to see their money go into effect, right? And they want to be able to see an outcome. The most powerful project one of the most powerful projects I ever gave to, um, was at Auburn University on their Tiger Giving Day. And I am privileged in that I have had a passport since I was an infant. I literally have a copy of my first passport with a baby photo of myself on it, and I'm privileged to keep my passport. She's worn, she's dirty, she expires in 2029. I literally go out and get the stamps rather than have the electronics sometimes because I love my passport stamps. But their crowdfunding was that they had students that wanted to study abroad. And at Auburn, you could study abroad for the same amount of tuition you paid just to go to regular classes in Auburn, Alabama. The only barrier to those students studying abroad was a passport. And so they did crowdfunding on Giving Day to buy passports for people. Let me tell you, I bought like 5 or 10 passports for students. I donated that amount of money because it's a 10-year passport in the United States. It's really powerful. And it allowed me to have tangible results. Their stewardship report featured the students, in their country where they studied abroad. And so picking powerful projects that have an outcome. We're not talking about dry erase markers in the library. We're talking about meaningful things, right? Anya is saying specific and tangible project-based giving with messaging that resonates, plus challenges, plus segmenting your emails. I will tell you, segments, the smaller the segment, the better the segment, the more powerful. I will also say that getting peer-to-peer folks to reach out to their classmates, reach out to their networks. You don't have to have necessarily a super sophisticated ambassador program, where they have to earn points or things like that. That's not necessarily my jam. But having a way for me to help that's non-monetary is wonderful as an alumnus. So just something to think about there. But when you get them excited, I think it's really tangible outcomes. I will tell you that dollar goals is never something I encourage on a giving day. We always do matches for a number of people who sign up. Like, can I get like 50 people to sign up for monthly giving? I will tell you that if you're running annual giving at a university right now in the United States and you are not having your monthly giving be a default, you're doing it wrong. And if you want a monthly giving expert, her name is Erica Wasdorp. She is the original. She wrote the book. I'm dropping her name in the chat. I'm sure Ashley will drop a link to her book. Erica is an amazing human. She is the monthly giving expert, hands down. I love her work. And she's a good human. Like, she writes my mom cards. She always includes a lovely holiday. Like, she's just a good human. Don't listen to some of those influencers on LinkedIn who haven't done the job and who are selling, monthly giving. No, go to Erica, buy her book, go to her website, sign up for her newsletter. She is amazing at monthly giving. So if you don't already have an established monthly giving program, get out there. That's another thing that can work. So I hope that answers your question to my friend, who's thinking about that. That's Hannah. Yep. And then, okay, Vanessa's back from maternity leave. Welcome back, Vanessa. I hope you had somewhat of some rest, but welcome back to the fray. She says, our team is getting ready for alumni reunion this spring. We have an alumni relations and events team, but she needs to know how her stewardship team can contribute. So Vanessa, I think that's a great question. I think that there's a couple ways. Number one, I like to, in donor relations or stewardship, be the support squad for the team actually running the events. So I'm arranging to make sure they've got cold water, they're well fed. Like, I'm working with campus catering or somebody to always have snacks for them. I get a golf cart. I am the queen of convenience when it comes to how can I come up with ways to make their lives easier. right? So I'm their biggest cheerleader. I'm always going to volunteer to help, but I'm also thinking about the people that have to run the weekend and how I can help them make it through the weekend more comfortably. Do I surprise them with ice cream? Do I make sure that they've got their favorite snacks and candies, things to keep them going? I also I volunteer my stewardship team to thank all their volunteers. We'll write all the thank you notes for the volunteers. You guys sign them, or we'll forge your signature. We'll take care of all of the stewardship that weekend. I also like to agree to be a handler. So, you have some special guests. Maybe like the president of the university is going to have a handler, but maybe you've got an alumni board member or the chair of your 50th reunion, and they need to get around campus and they need a go-to person. I will print the agenda. I will walk them around, kind of like what happens when a devil wears Miranda Priestley goes to an event. I'm going to make sure that person is handled, make sure that person has everything there they need. So my job isn't to supplant or do the work for them, it's to help them make their job easier. I'm the person that will run to the Home Depot to get the supplies they need. I guess my dad would have called it a Johnny on the spot. So that's one way your stewardship team can be helpful. I also like to, when people are having like a big weekend, like a giving day or a reunion weekend, I like to go around and tell my colleagues, hey, so this week, we're going to leave our colleagues in alumni relations alone. We're not going to send them emails. We're going to put an embargo on that. I'm going to stand in front of their offices and block people from asking silly questions, right? Or I can be the person you can say, hey guys, if any of the internal staff has questions, come to me. That way they have one person pipeline going to alumni relations to ask them the questions, and they're not inundated with silly internal staff questions about stuff that doesn't matter. What do I do with my purse? Oh my God, I couldn't find a parking spot. Let me help you with that. Please don't bother alumni relations. It's kind of like during giving day, I cordon off the gift processing team, and I'm like, nobody asks them questions. Nobody asks them for updates. They are in sacred space, and I will be their bodyguard. So I think those are like wonderful volunteer roles. Again, we're in stewardship. We do the little thoughtful things, right? I go by and I'll take a picture of the team working, trying to have moments of levity. But also there's a time to just leave them alone and let them cook, let them do their work. So that's kind of what I think about. If all of y'all have other ideas of how you can be a good helper when someone has a big events weekend or a big initiative that they're working on. I also am the queen of no job's too big, no job's too small. You need me to scrape gum off of a water fountain because students left it there before the alumni get there. I may or may not have done it. You need me to make sure the toilets are clean. Do you want blue water or green water, honey? I'm going with school colors if I can find the water to match. So that's a great question, Vanessa. And if I can add anything, please let me know if you guys have ideas. But those are just some of the things that I like to do. So that's me when I'm helping other folks. And those are the things that when I'm deep in the shits, to be honest, that's what I want. I want somebody asking me if I've eaten. I want somebody forcing me to drink water, putting sunscreen on, like all of those things. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Again, that self-care that I don't have the bandwidth to do for myself is really important. What else do you have going on? What else can we chat about? I mean, I'm open and happy to chat about any and everything you want to chat about. We've covered The Sopranos, we've covered some reality television. We've covered the harsh reality in the United States right now, especially in Minnesota, but I want to acknowledge that it's happening everywhere. It happened a mile from my parents' home in Georgia, in Gainesville, Georgia. Yeah, there's lots of ice out there and in many different forms. So, yeah, it's been a really tough time. I also want you to give yourself grace if you're not all in at work every second of every day right now. I mean, our work is important, but it is not urgent and it is not life and death. I want to repeat this like every 2 weeks to say that, you know? Help folks drink water. Exactly, exactly. Hey Megan, good to see you. I can't do caffeine. You don't want me to do caffeine. Let me be very clear. No chocolate, no tiramisu, no coffee, no sodies, nothing. Just give me a bunch of water. But yes, for many people, keep them caffeinated. So Hannah says, what was the most successful end of year appeal you've seen and what makes it stand out? Oh goodness. I've seen more bad than I have good. And if Tom Ahern's listening, he probably has some great standouts. You can also no, because it has coffee in it, Maureen. I don't do caffeine. Sorry. But I'll take a gelato. Um, uh, the most successful end of year appeals, I will tell you what they don't have in them, maybe. I'm like a doctor. I'm better at identifying what not to do sometimes. So none of the bull crap of um time is up, you're going to miss a deadline, those kinds of things. None of that. End of year is end of year, right? I don't think you need to remind people of tax receipts. You don't need to remind people unless you're targeting a specific office or audience about like the 70 and a half for the IRA. I would say sincere messaging. Don't talk about your goals. Don't talk about but you need to acknowledge that the most successful appeal to me is one that tells me I'm needed. The one that tells me I'm needed. I received a successful appeal. I'm trying to find it in my inbox while I talk at the same time. So bear with me. That was wonderful. And it was, oh gosh, I'm trying to find the sample. It was just so earnest and genuine at the end of the year, and it stood out. And it was just lovely. I'm trying to find it, and I keep a samples folder. Also, if you want inspiration, Sophie, SOFII, they collect great appeals, and I just love it. So, just something to think about if you're looking for some inspiration. I am really trying to find that. Pause with a Cause always does great. Charity Water, Team Rubicon. I'm just trying to think of ones off the top of my head that make a difference. Oh, Flatbush Cats. He does. There it is. Okay. Um, it is from Early Start. I'm going to find their website. Nonprofit. I gave them a gift and it has been a wonderful experience. So Early Start. So there you go. The appeal said, every dream they chase begins with our love. And I was just like, oh. And it says, as the twinkle lights go up and wish lists grow long, we're reminded that the holidays are really about hope and the dreams we hold for one another. At Early Start, our dreams don't fit under a tree. They sound like laughter in a classroom, look like families standing tall again, and feel like a brighter future for every little learner we serve. This season, we're celebrating all the small miracles made possible by people like you. Anyway, you help students like Ava enter kindergarten, are recognizing her letters. And it says so as you hang your stockings and make your own holiday wishes, we hope you'll add one more dream to your wish. A dream of a community where every student has the chance to shine. Your year-end gift does just that for children right here in our community. I'm going to cut and paste that sentence. Absolutely fabulous. So that was one that stood out to me. So thanks for the question, Hannah. Dylan, you're absolutely right. We have to talk about what is going on. We cannot pretend, which is why we've done multiple posts. It's so in in 2025, when GoFundMe were just absolute asshats and created pages and I spoke out against it, I noticed who was silent. I noticed who was silent and who didn't um, speak up about the wrongs that GoFundMe was doing. And they're still doing wrong. They're still raising money for that asshole that murdered Renee Nicole Good. So F them and the train they rode in on and their friends' trains and everyone else. But I will never give another dime through GoFundMe um, as long as I live. And that is my solemn vow. We protect the family over here. As much as there are people not doing the right thing, there are organizations that are doing the right thing. And so we posted, Dylan, we talk about it. We talk about also that it's okay not to show up 100% at work some days or in life. Want you to think about that. As Mariah says, this month has been one of the most emotional months for me. How has it lasted a year? Yes, it's just like April of 2020 when a month lasted forever, right? So Travis says, it feels like I started learning and listening to you forever ago, but it was only 5 years. Yeah, it seems like we were in a similar space. We were. Travis, great point. What lessons have we learned and held on to, or what do we need to remember? And what do you remember helping us get through so many unprecedented world events? If I never hear unprecedented pivot another effing time, I'll be really happy about that. But unfortunately, I feel that this is the new normal, whatever that word means to you. So, Travis, here are the lessons I learned from COVID. And I'm hoping that nonprofits and things that I saw. Number one, there were two types of leaders then, and there are two types of leaders now. Those who stuck their head in the sand and were like deer in the headlights and froze and did nothing. And those who said, I'm going to show up. F it. It's going to be imperfect, just like me. But I've got to lead my team through this. And we're going to listen and we're going to talk through this. And this sucks. And it more than sucks. And it's going to impact everything we do for the rest of our lives. And so those that reached out to their donor base and said, we care about you. I haven't gotten a single message this week from a nonprofit saying, are you okay? Checking in on you. There's been storms, there's been murders, there's been just absolute shit show. But are you okay? I haven't gotten that. And that is something we need to remember. Check on your people, not just your staff, but your donors. Everybody's reeling in one way or another. And you can check in on somebody without it being a political statement. Care is, well, in my heart, caring for someone is not a political ideology. But, here we are. Right? So checking in on people, taking care of people, and letting them know you care, right? To me, that never goes out of style. So Nicole, I'm going to answer Nicole's question, then I'm going to come back to Lauren's question since we're on the topic. How do you navigate the tension between caring deeply about what's happening right now and wanting to help, while also allowing yourself to do things that bring you joy or rest? I'm heading out on a tropical vacation and I'm noticing a lot of guilt tied up with the privilege of that, even as everything else is going on. So I will tell you what my psychologist tells me, Nicole. He's a great psychologist. So he's been with me since 2017, since I had my nervous breakdown. He helped me through intense treatment. And then now I talk to him every week. And he says there is no shame in self-care. Because I used to tell him, look, on Saturdays in the fall, I literally turn on the TV at 8 or 9 a.m. to watch college game day. And other than to get delivery from the door, I don't leave. And I'm so lazy. And he goes, that's not lazy. That's rest. And your body needs it and your brain needs it. You need a little vitamin D and sunshine in your life. I moved outside the United States to take care of my mental health. I moved to somewhere where I get sun all the time, where I hear the ocean, where I see the shores. Yes, it's natural to have that guilt, but don't ever feel guilty for taking care of yourself. And if I were to talk to the people that are suffering, if we were to talk to them, they're doing their best to take care of themselves. And one of the ways that we can care for them is by refilling our cups so we can go right back at the fight again, so that we can recharge our batteries, so that we can show up time and time again. And caring deeply is exhausting. It's what my psychologist calls emotional labor. Emotional labor, look, you I will outwork anyone physically and mentally. Like, I could sit there and do math problems all day. But if you ask me to do something like this, or to give of my emotional labor at a speech for 3.5 hours, afterwards, my adrenaline dump is so severe now at age 48 that I literally, like, I crawled in bed late yesterday. And so it's okay to do both. It's a yes and. So in improv comedy, we talk about yes and, right? And so I want you to embrace that. And so what I say is, I'm refilling my cup, I'm recharging my batteries so that I can be there to care. I can be there to have difficult discussions. It's okay to also say, I'm exhausted and I need a minute, like boundaries. Boundaries are also self-care. So, but it's natural to feel that guilt. I have it all the time when people are like, oh, where do you live? And I'm like, frickin' paradise, and it's awesome. I pay a price sometimes for it, but if it were up to me, I'd be in New Zealand tomorrow. But that's okay. So take care of yourself. Enjoy your tropical vacation. I think what you'll find, for me anyway, is it takes me longer to decompress. So some people start a vacation and they can immediately get into decompression mode. I don't know what that's like. Just like I don't know what it's like to not have my brain active 24 hours a day. I got a blowtorch in here and she doesn't calm down much. So take care of yourself, but it takes me longer to unwind than it used to. It really does. It takes me like, if I go into vacation mode, like end of year, it takes me 2 to 3 days to finally take my volume down on my thoughts. And they never go away. I took a class on Buddhism. I did a lot of yoga one year, and they were like, now imagine your brain is like a free flowing, trickling brook. And I was like, nah, I got stage 5 rapids, bitch. Like, I cannot calm this down. So it didn't work for me, that whole trickling stream stuff. No. I do like the Calm app. Also, if you have not yet listened to um, uh, my girl Olivia Dean, fantastic. And I found a new person that has been singing. I recently went through a breakup in May. Sienna Spiro these British girls are singing all my feelings right now, and I am listening to them. Yeah, I am a stage 5 rapids, Mariah. Yeah. All right, Lauren. Question: working down a strategy to break down some silos that are making our annual fund reporting process more challenging than it needs to be. Frickin' men, right? You don't have silos. You've got like nuclear fallout shelters. My first step is to have an in-person SWOT discussion where you're buying everybody lunch. Hey, free lunch works. I wouldn't do a SWOT. I would do a SOAR analysis. Ashley can probably post about SOAR versus SWOT. Just a little more approachable and less tense. So just something to think about there. Any tips on keeping the conversation productive and glean actionable changes to the processes? Yeah. So first of all, I would have some meeting rules of the road, some etiquette, some kind of understanding of what today's outcomes will be. When I facilitate meetings that might diverge, and I am the queen of diverging into a wood, I use a term called Elmo. I will even get an Elmo doll. And that it means enough, let's move on. So I use the Elmo technique a lot. So if we're not being productive, or if we've gone down a rabbit hole, I say, Elmo, we'll put that over here and we'll come back to it. Or now I can just refer to my bracelet and say, enough. I mean, Elmo. And so that's a fun way to help steer the conversation back to something productive. I think the other thing is allowing enough time at the end of the meeting to say, okay, here are our goals for the outcomes. What goals did we meet? what goals did we not meet, and what are our action items and who's responsible for them, and what do realistic deadlines look like. Now, Lauren, we know, so breaking down silos is part of what we call a culture shift. And I do change management and culture shifting for a living, right? So we know that culture shifts take a minimum of 18 months, but the sweet spot is 18 to 36 months. Nobody wants to hear that. I have vice presidents tell me, well, you need to do it in 3 months. And I'm like, I won't. I can change shit in 3 months, but nobody will like it. I can. People are going to be upset. We're going to rock the boat. People's hair is going to get wet. There's going to be a fight. Somebody's going to quit. Somebody's going to cry. 18 to 36 months. So those are my tips. I love changing culture. I'm happy to help you do that. But I just want you to think about, it's going to take a series of meetings. And I would say the other thing would be try to get a statement of commitment from the people in the room. I am committing to the following in this meeting. I am committing to the following in the future. Those are the things I'm looking at. So it looks like I got Janet's question answered. Erica Wasdorp, to me, is the one and only. Don't listen to some of these fake influencers on LinkedIn. Let me tell you about the fake influencers on LinkedIn if I had 6 hours. And then we're coming to the end. Dylan, you're asking the question about realistic expectations. When we start an engagement with a client, we give them a timeline. We also give them progress reports throughout our engagements. It's part of who we are as a consulting firm. Some teams can change more quickly, some teams can't. So we walk alongside our partners and we show them, we say, well, until you remove this obstacle, this is the limit of our success. And sometimes I walk away from clients and say, you need about 6 months to a year, and then come back to us and we'll walk alongside us. There are other consultants that take their money the whole time, and I just won't do that. That's just not who we are as a business. That's not how I choose to operate. Because at the end of the day, I'm taking money from a nonprofit that could go to other areas, and I'll be damned if I waste a nonprofit's money on spinning their wheels. So forward progress is going to be really important. Okay, Crystal says, answer Heather's question. I have to find Heather's question. Heather. Oh, a good donor gift. Oh, don't do donor gifts is the first answer. So donors don't want tchotchkes. There's an actual study that says anytime you give a donor an item with your logo on it, their next gift goes down 48%. If you must gift, then you want to gift something with meaning or something from your organization. If you've got kids, you might want to take their artwork and turn it into note cards at your organization. If you're an environmental organization, you might want to harvest some seeds and give them to people. But giving me something you ordered out of a catalog from China is never, ever, ever acceptable. I'm going to say that again. If it comes out of a catalog and you just put your logo on it, it's never acceptable. It needs to be something, my friend Angie would give honey from the bees on their rooftop at UC Davis. You can give, things that are created, things that are bespoke, but there is no one gift that's going to make everybody happy. So avoid. Plus, I don't necessarily want things with your logo on them. Like, I have my own identity. Tchotchkeying is horrible. So no donor gifts unless they are immediately relevant. And you also have to take into account IRS regulations around quid pro quo. Anything with a value, you have to deduct that from their taxes. But people don't want your crap. No offense. They don't want another made in China thing that you have to pick the sticker off. If you have an alum or a donor who handcrafts things, if you have something that gives back to your organization, the most meaningful thing I've ever been given as a speaker is they allowed me to select a charity and made a donation in my honor. That was great. That was absolutely fabulous. Please don't get me a Starbucks gift card. I don't drink caffeine. You know what I mean? So I just go there and buy water and Rice Krispie treats. So not very good for me, right? Or I use the money to buy Starbucks gift cards for flight attendants. So It's what I do. Thank you again for joining me in community. Let me double check my calendar to make sure I don't have a conflict for the next one. Yes, we will be in conversation together on Wednesday, February 11th, the moment I get finished speaking at AFP Charlotte that day. And then I'm going to drive to my parents' house and see them. But thank you all for being in community. And again, our thoughts are with those that are suffering, but our actions need to follow. We have actions you can take listed, but one of the biggest actions you can take to help those in need is taking care of yourself. So don't forget to take care of yourself. Um, there you go, Lauren. Yeah, art quality prints from special collections or artwork that maybe one of your students has done or things like that. Excellent. Enjoy yourselves. I'm off to Singapore on Saturday, so I'll be a day and some change ahead of you. I'll be living in the future. I'll let you know how it goes. I can't wait to have some Singaporean and Malay cuisine. I can't wait for it's going to be 89 degrees and like 100% humidity. God, I need it because my knee over here in Seattle is killing me. Thank you all so much. I will talk to you soon. Thank you for always showing up, and take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We all need each other.